I think the main threat is that governments, and we're not talking about party politics here, government of any kind of form, will continue to tinker with the BBC, any much more than we've seen up to now. The main area of tinkering tends to be the license fee. The more the license fee gets fiddled around with, the greater the political interference, the more the threat to the BBC's independence, and the greater the difficulty for proper independent public service broadcasting of the kind that we've known traditionally. And I think at the moment, and I hope for forever, but certainly for a long time to come, the BBC will have strong support from the public. But this tinkering is really insidious. It can affect everything about the BBC: its income, its programming, the degree to which it's free to operate and broadcast. We've seen in Canada in the 80s what happens when governments start to interfere with the license fee of an organisation created on the BBC model. CBC is a fine organisation, but it's not what it was. It was the dominant broadcaster in Canada. Now it's a niche broadcaster broadcasting to educated, essentially middle-class people. That would be a very sad thing for the BBC. That's why I say again and again, I think that I'm sure there's a future for the BBC or something called the BBC, but I don't think there's a long-term future for the BBC that I've spent 44 years in, because I think that it's too tempting for politicians to get involved. Having just completed this I've lived for 2 years with 100 years worth of journalism, and I came to one quite surprising conclusion. That wasn't something I was expecting, which is that the newspapers that we have today, certainly the good quality newspapers that we've got today, are probably better now, and therefore I think British newspaper journalism is probably better now than at any time in its history. That doesn't mean to say it's going to carry on this way, and I can't help feeling that I might be talking about the flowering on the cliff edge, and that the last period of really good journalism is the best, and that's going to be it. I don't know. I mean, what is interesting is that so many fields of operation now are uncertain about their futures. I mean, television, nobody knows what the future of television is. Nobody knows what the future of television news is, certainly. Nobody knows what the future of newspapers is. Nobody knows what the future of books is. Maybe technology will come and rescue us all, save us all. I mean, let's hope so. It's perfectly possible. But it's an unsettling time, and at a time when the profession of journalism is starting to be put into question by citizen journalism, blogging, the kind of just the kind of stuff you get on the internet, which are totally unchecked and wholly not necessarily unreliable, but just uncheckable. So you cannot be sure that the quality of good journalism, which we have at the moment, will carry on, I think. But I don't want to be too negative. I mean, it's as I say, it really is a very attractive thing, British journalism at the moment, when you compare it with American, German, French, Italian, God knows, Italian journalism. I mean, the British journalism really does stand out, but how much longer, I just don't know.